Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I'm starting a new series here on my channel, and that is doing my makeup based off of my Animal Crossing villagers. So all of my villagers that I have in my little Animal Crossing town on my Switch, I'm gonna do my makeup based off of them. So today I actually decided to start with my favorite character in the game, who is Alice. I have her amiibo card that I bought off of eBay so that way I could get her as my villager specifically. Because I've loved her ever since Wild World. She was like my bestie. I cried when she moved away in there. I'm very glad that in this game they consult you before they try and move away, because I was very upsetty about this situation. But I decided to do this kind of neutral faux freckle with a pop of red look based off of her. I just really like her. She's really fun and sweet and just like a cute little koala. And she's my bestie. Anyway, if you are in for some quality makeup content, I'm gonna get into the tutorial. Okay, so as with every makeup tutorial, I begin with my eyes, and I'm gonna begin with my NYX HD eyeshadow primer. So just use a primer of your choice. This one is mine. And I think I might also just bring it a little bit to my lower lash line as well, just because I like to put my eyeshadow down there, and I rarely prime there, which is probably a mistake on my part. Okay, so Alice has a pretty natural look going on, so I'm going to be using kind of the brownie tones of the Melt Gemini palette. I am going to begin with the shade Lorelei here, that one, and I am going to apply that in my crease as my transition shade. And I'm using just this BH Cosmetics brush that is not labeled. I got it in a set. It is glorious. And I'm going to blend that onto the outer corner as well. And I think that I'm just going to make this kind of an all matte eye look and really focus the kind of dewiness on the skin. The animation in Animal Crossing isn't exactly one that's like super shiny, like most of the characters and stuff are like matte, if that makes sense. But I can tell that Alice would be like a dewy girl, I think. She would, like, I think she would be good for like some nice dewy skin looks, you know? And I'm gonna get a little bit more towards the inner part of my crease, just because I always seem to neglect that on my first go around when I put stuff in my crease. Okay, so for my lid shade, I'm going to use the shade Luna from here. Again, from Melt Gemini. That's what we're using on the eyes. I explained that before, so I'm just saying it again for emphasis. And as you can see, these shades actually blend pretty nicely together. I'm still going to go back in with more of the crease shade, but, you know. Also, I'm using natural lighting as always, so I'm pretty certain the lighting is changing a little bit. Y'all will have to be okay with that. And then I'm going back with a little bit more of Lorelei to deepen up. Well, not necessarily deepen up, but to just make the line a little bit less harsh. We're not doing anything like a cut crease or anything like that today. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more of that same shade along the lower lash line. I'm doing a little bit grungy because that's how I like my eyeshadow to be generally. Also, I don't know if you can hear the children next door in the background, but there's screaming going on. I think it's fun screaming. Probably. And now I'm going to take this more precise blending brush from BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to go in with Polka Dot right here, which is the not quite deepest but close, but like deeper shade. And anyway, I'm going to put that towards the outer corner as well as the outer portion of my crease. And I just really love how these shadows blend together. And I'm doing it along the lower lash line too a little bit. And now I gotta go back in my collection and find like a matte inner corner highlight, because the lid shade is about as light as this palette goes. So, one second. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my ABH Self-Made palette, and just because I really want to use this shade up completely by the end of the year, I'm going to go in with Buttery, and I'm going to use that both in my inner corner but also along my brow bone. And this is very, very subtle. But this look is going to be pretty subtle for the most part, which is very different for me, but You know, you're watching this, you can see in the thumbnail how this turns out. I'm in the past, I can't see how it turns out right now. Okay, so now the eyes are basically done, so I'm just going to curl my lashes using my Ardell lash curler. And I decided for my mascara I actually wanted to use a brown one, so I'm using, this one's pretty old and I'm not entirely sure if I should be using it anymore, but hey, if I go blind, I go blind. This is from the original Elf and J Kissa collection, because this is a really great brown mascara. And I just find that this also kind of adds like a little bit of visual interest while also keeping this look pretty natural. Okay, so now the eyes are basically done, let's move on to the skin. Here's my one base product that I own, and this is the NYX Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil in the shade 04 True Beige Buff. I'm going to apply that as my base. Use whatever foundation you want. I'm really going for a more natural dewy complexion, so this is the best product I've found for that so far. And I'm just using a sponge to blend this in just so it looks extra natural and dewy. And I accidentally got some of it in my eyeshadow, so I don't know why y'all come to me for makeup advice. So now I'm going to go in and do my bronzer. I've actually got a new bronzer, so I finally own a whole two bronzers now. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty bronzer in Shady Biz, which is like the second lightest shade, I think. But it looks like this and it goes with my skin tone quite well. I kind of just put that not in the contour spot. I'm never entirely sure where bronzer is supposed to go, but I think it looks good where I put it. Don't take bronzer advice from me. Find someone who isn't me to tell you more about bronzer. I just know that whatever I do with it, it's like fine. And then I'm going to use this Glossier Cloud Paint in Dusk as my like blush color, because this is a blush product that I can put on my face as blush.
Oh, right. The poison for Cusco. The poison chosen specially to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison.
I definitely think Alice would be a Glossier girl. Like, not in like the annoying stereotype way, but in the love a good dewy look kind of way. Here we go. And I'm gonna actually put it across my nose a little bit because if you look at her, like in her photos, she definitely has like a very blush nose. So look at me going slightly out of my comfort zone. Woo! So here's what I do for that. I usually like kind of dot it onto my cheekbones like a little bit higher than where I wanted to actually apply it, you know? And I start very small. And I blend it in with my sponge. Just like attack my face like this. And then I'm going to do that on the other side. And this is a very nice and natural blush too, so that way, if you're scared of blush, like I mentioned this in my blushes for people who are afraid of blush video, this is a good one for putting blush on your nose. So here I'm going to do the same two dots that I kind of did on my cheekbones, but on my nose. And that definitely adds like a bit of color to the face, but without making it look like you don't look disgustingly sunburnt in this. And the other thing that I really want to do before I apply highlight is another thing that's new for me, and that is putting on some fake freckles, because Alice has freckles and I've seen a lot of people do this, like just this technique in general, and it's not something that I would do all the time, just because it's an extra step and it's on my face and I mostly care about eyeshadow, so I don't really do this. Like, it's fine when other people do it, but it's, you know, not my thing. But I'm just going to use this very tiny little brush from BH Cosmetics, again, like I kind of always use, and I think probably the shade Polka Dot in here would look the best as fake freckles. Like, I have done the technique before just to sort of enhance my own freckles on my face, because I do have a few, like here and there, like specifically here and there. Anyway, that's like a lot of talking for me to say I'm gonna put some fake freckles on my face now, and then I'm going to use like a highlighter, because one of the things that I've learned from watching other people do this technique is if you do it underneath your highlight, then it'll look a bit more natural, because your freckles are close to your skin. Okay, right now I look like I have chicken pox. Probably should have watched a few more of Butte Bean's videos before doing this, but okay, now I'm gonna like tap that in a little bit with my sponge, so hopefully it'll look more natural rather than sunburnty and like chicken poxy. I'm scared of anything that isn't subtle, so it's highlighter time, and that is something that I like know how to do. So I'm going to use this Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Highlighter in Radiant Lights, and I'm just going to I've really been watching a lot of Robert Welch's videos, and so what I really have been trying to pay attention to is just like where the light naturally hits my face, as opposed to, you know, kind of putting it on the same spot that every beauty guru does, because you should really just pay attention to your own face shape. And if you want to learn technique, find people on the internet with a similar face shape, you know. Honestly, I don't hate the fake freckle look on me. I think I would need to find like I know they make products for that specifically, but that's not something I necessarily want to spend my money on. But like, it's not a bad look. I don't hate it. And now, because I do want to actually do something not entirely subtle on my face, I noticed that in the game Alice wears a lot of red, and so I really want to wear a red lipstick to kind of match that, so I'm going to use a shade of Rosemont from Fluid Beauty, just because she's a pretty neutral character. Like, she's not like a Pietro type character, if you know what I mean, if you're an Animal Crossing fan, but I think that she does like a little bit of color, like a little bit of red or blue here or there. Like, I'll show you her amiibo card. Like, you can see that she's wearing like that little barbershop type dress there. So, and I think that the red would go with this eye look a little bit better than the blue. So here we go. Okay, so this is the finished look. Alright, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see y'all in my next one. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye!